be talking to players from the entire team.
Today, I'm joined by Peyton Chattenay.
What's your mindset when you step on the mound?
When did you learn you were going to be in Orleans?
What do you think that feeling is going to be like?
Hi, Cape League fans. This is Coach K, manager of the Orleans Firebirds, and I'm here to tell you that Cape League baseball is back this summer, and it's time to meet the Bird King.
Welcome into another edition of Meet the Bird Gang 2.0. My name is Noah Sears, and we got another fun episode today, and of course, another fun guest. This time, Georgia pitcher Michael Polk. He's had a stellar season so far for the Bulldogs, and he's coming to the Cape this summer. So thanks for taking some time today. How you doing, Michael?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Excited that college baseball is finally started, and you guys have had quite a few games under your belt already. We'll get to that in a little bit, but I like to start off all of these interviews kind of with the same open-ended question, because everybody kind of has an interesting story related how they get into baseball, and for you guys that are on the Firebirds, how you became very seriously into baseball. So for you, what was like your first baseball memory in the moment where you realized that you really wanted to play it not only through high school, varsity, but in college and potentially further on?
Well, one of the big moments was when there was a summer that I came in to start the game, and I was pretty average. I was sitting like 83, 84. And then there was a rain delay, and I came out, drank a Monster or whatever, and came back. The first pitch was 88, then 89, then 88, and 89. That was kind of when I started like kind of click, like, holy shit, I can do this.
So just to get it straight, if you drink Monster before you pitch, it adds about 4 or 5 miles per hour onto your fastball.
Pretty much, yeah.
I think you may have a future sponsorship there, but who knows with that one. You know, you had a successful high school career. I know you kind of dabbled playing in the field as a shortstop when you were coming up, playing at Cambridge as well, but also a pitcher. And unlike some of the other Firebirds I've interviewed thus far, you're not a starting pitcher. You're a relief pitcher. So, you know, what was that kind of like? You know, were you always kind of someone who came in relief, or how did you end up in that role? Because it's very different than starting off the game pitching.
I don't know. I've always just kind of enjoyed coming in the middle of the game. I like pressure. I don't like having a lot of time to get ready, because it makes me think too much. If I think, it's like my dad says, not what I'm good at.
And then, you know, successful career at Cambridge. You were a pretty good prospect, and you ended up being able to play for Team Georgia. You know, what was that experience like, going to all these tournaments around the country? And oh, by the way, finding some success. I know you guys won a couple tournaments, including the Perfect Game World Series.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, that was probably one of the greatest teams I ever played on. It was so much fun. We had a lot of chemistry. It was just a great time.
Well, and you're finishing up your career at Cambridge, but I believe it was your junior and senior year, you get a new head coach, and it's Evan Tielis, who is actually a graduate of Georgia. He was also a pitcher. So when he came in, you know, what kind of role did he play in your development as a pitcher?
He just kind of gave me confidence. I enjoyed his coaching. I mean, he was a good guy. It was fun to play for.
Absolutely, and, you know, successful career at Cambridge. You're playing in these perfect game events. You're going to play Division I baseball. That's clear. You know, what was the process like, you know, looking around at schools? Were you thinking about the MLB at all at any point straight out of high school? Like, what was that whole process like for you?
Well, the whole thing, it kind of was surreal for me. So because I don't know, when I was younger, I never really even thought about playing in college. But then one day it just kind of clicked. I was going to be able to, and through the process, I was starting to do a bunch of schools, and it was just a lot of fun. So, I mean, yeah.
And when you were looking at schools, you know, presumably had a ton of great offers. You end up at Georgia. You know, why Georgia? What stood out from you from the rest of the programs?
Well, I came and I don't know, I made a decision to go to Georgia within 4 days of visiting. I loved the campus. I loved the coaches. Everything was awesome.
And did your high school coach, Evan Tielis, the fact that, he was a graduate of Georgia and knew the program, did that kind of help in the process of, I guess, informing you on what the program was like and kind of giving you the inside scoop on how the Bulldogs get down?
Well, I had actually already been verbally committed to Georgia before he got there, so he kind of just came along, and it was just nice to hear how much he loved it there and helped me ensure that I liked my decision.
It's a small world, the fact that you
Very
commit to
much.
Georgia and then a graduate comes and coaches you. You come to Georgia then. You're playing at an SEC school, widely considered the best conference in college baseball. What was that transition like? Because it's one thing to ball out at the high school level, even at these very, very highly touted, talent events like Perfect Game stuff. But now you're Division I baseball player. Like, did you have some initial shock when you're like, oh man, like these dudes can rake?
Well, it was kind of like what kind of hit me was when I got here, I realized that in high school, there's always like the two guys on the team that were like the best. They're always the guys that you had the hardest time pitching to. And once you get to college, all the guys are like that. They're all the best. So it was just a different transition.
And, you come in, definitely transition, but you found success from the get-go. I know it was a shortened season from what we all thought it was going to be, but in 5 appearances, didn't allow a single hit. How did you quickly translate your success prior to playing collegiate baseball onto the Division I level?
It was a lot just trying to get my mind, like get focused. Like I tried to schedule out my days and get everything very scheduled out. That way it didn't like affect me as much when I got in the game.
And when you're creating kind of like a mental schedule, besides, I assume, making sure you have at least one monster before each outing, what does that schedule look like?
Usually I have my days of class, go to class, do all that, and then I get to the field probably a little earlier than most people, and then kind of just relax, chill, get kind of my bearings of the field, and then get to work.
And when you're preparing for a game, especially as a relief pitcher, what does that schedule look like? Because you show up to the ballpark and you don't necessarily know if you're going to play, but you kind of have to be ready to play night in and night out.
Yeah, I mean every day pretty much I show up and I'm ready to go. I mean, I don't really have there's days where I know I'm not going to throw. Those are the only days I pretty much take off and kind of get to chill in the dugout. But other than that, I'm pretty much always trying to keep myself in the game as much as I can.
And, you mentioned that keeping yourself in the game, very important. As a relief pitcher, you guys had a pretty good start to the year last year, peaked at number 2 in the rankings, but of course, COVID hit, sports stop. We all know how that went. But for you, what was that like? What did your summer look like? The fact that, your freshman year got cut short and then everybody's kind of in limbo. How did you stay sharp and, end up staying mentally sharp and physically sharp, ready for this season?
Well, when I got home, I knew that I needed to throw a lot of bullpens and stuff. So I had one of my buddies that I was good friends with playing at West Point right now. He was home and he would just catch my bullpens and all that. And then one day, Sean Kinney, our pitching coach, called me and said that there was a team in Sarasota that needed a pitcher. So I went and pitched in Sarasota for a few weeks, just get a few more innings under my belt.
Yeah, what was that experience like? Especially when, for the longest time, you maybe thought, this bullpen was all these bullpens. This is the experience I'm going to get. What did it feel like, the fact that you got some sort of game action, albeit in extremely irregular times and not necessarily where you thought you'd be? Was that pretty exciting, being able to just get in the game a couple times?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, I also made new friends and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But yeah.
And so you come into this year, and again, you're off to a hot start. It's funny, at the time of recording this, your most recent outing against number 1 Vanderbilt, who Georgia beat just last night. And in that outing, I don't know if you realize this, but you actually struck out Carter Young, who is going to be on the Firebirds with you. So kind of funny how that worked right there. But how have you been able to transition? You know, you had a hot freshman year, but then obviously this really weird time. How did you keep your ball rolling to this season where, you know, you have some pretty impressive stats? I'm not going to jinx anything because I know that's like the pitcher's worst enemy. It's like when a guy's throwing a no-hitter and you're like, by the way, you haven't allowed a hit yet. That's the worst thing you could do. So if anybody's curious, go look up Michael's stats. But how have you been able to keep the ball rolling going into this year?
Well, I mean, a lot of it was just making myself stronger over the quarantine time and Corona time and everything. I mean, I worked out a lot, and so it kind of helped me like strengthen my speed of my curveball and my fastball a little bit heavier, and just helps a lot. I mean, I lost some of my feel for my changeup, but I got it back last night, which was very nice.
Did you realize that when you had struck out Carter, you were going to be teammates with him?
I did not. I had no clue.
Funny how that works. I guess when you guys get there, you already have automatic bragging rights over him for something that you guys can joke about. But going in to the Orleans season, I know you guys already have a decent chunk of this season left, and that's what you're focused on. But it's kind of crazy to think about 2 months from now, basically, you'll be in Orleans for the summer. So when you think about the Cape Cod Baseball League, the prestige it brings, when did you first hear about the Cape League, and how did you end up landing in Orleans?
Well, I heard about it last year, and I mean, I know a lot of people going. Everybody knows what the Cape is. I mean, it's kind of everybody loves going there. Everyone knows they want to go there. It's like the best place to be.
And, was it kind of like a meeting with your coach, or did you know anything about any of the teams?
I mean, I didn't really know much about teams. I had a meeting with my coach, or I had a meeting with my coach one day, and a few days later, he texted me and told me I was going to the Cape. I was very excited.
What was your immediate reaction? Because, I've talked to enough guys now, and you even said it right there, like the Cape Cod Baseball League is the pinnacle of summer collegiate baseball. Like, did you kind of have that moment where it was like validation that, what I'm doing, I'm going somewhere?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I texted my dad that, and my mom, and they were very excited to hear it as well. So, I mean, I was very glad to hear it.
Well, we couldn't be more excited to have you in Orleans as well. Excited to see what you can do for the Firebirds. And, we're running down on time in this interview today. But before I let you go, we've learned a lot about you as a ball player, but not so much what makes you tick, your personality. So I'm going to throw a segment at you that we do in a lot of these interviews, and it's called the squeeze. And basically what it is, like the play in baseball where it's kind of chaotic, fast-paced, bang, bang, you don't know what's going to happen necessarily. I'm going to put a minute on the clock, and I'm just going to give you some rapid fire questions to kind of get to know you a little bit better. You think you're up for that?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to get a minute on the clock right now. And I will start off with the first question. What's your favorite breakfast item?
Favorite breakfast item? Oh, man. Honestly, probably bacon.
Bacon? All right. Who doesn't like bacon? Who's on the pregame playlist?
Playlist. Oh, man. Dirk Bentley and Jason Aldean.
All right, so you're a country boy.
Oh, yeah.
What's your favorite TV show?
TV show? God, I've watched so many. To be honest, I don't really know. I have a lot.
Just give me one. All you have to do is give me one.
Honestly, I loved the TV show The 100. It was on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah, that's a
watched
good
it
one.
a few years ago, but it was so good.
So on your off days on the Cape, there's two popular things people like to do. Will you be going mini golfing or going to the beach?
Probably going to the beach. I like to
Going to the
fish, and I
beach.
love the ocean.
All right. I think we got time for one more. How would you describe yourself in 3 words or less?
Crazy. Kind of smart. And very outgoing.
crazy smart and outgoing. Sounds like a good combo. I think the fans will definitely be excited to interact with you. And like I said, running down on time in today's interview. But before I let you go, one final question, and it's kind of to give the fans a little bit more of a taste of what you're going to bring to the team. So it's going to be open-ended, and this is kind of your chance to stand up and tell the fans what you're about. So I'm going to ask you the simple question of, what can Firebirds fans be excited for when Michael Polk is playing for them this season?
Energy. We're going to bring the energy.
Energy. He's going to bring the energy. He's outgoing, kind of smart, maybe a little bit, maybe more than he'll give himself credit for. That's Michael Polk. He's a pitcher for Georgia baseball. Michael, thanks again for giving me some of your time today.
Yes, sir. Nice to meet you.